Part 48. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Chi Wen. Chapter 475. Wang Shuo personally came to the city gate. Violet had been waiting for a long time with the main officials. Greetings to His Majesty the Emperor of the Vanna Empire. Violet took the lead in saluting, which surprised Wang Shuo. He still couldn't believe that the emperor of a huge empire would surrender. Violet, why did you surrender? Wang Shuo asked puzzledly. Violet smiled slightly and said in a soft voice, of course I surrendered because I thought I couldn't beat His Majesty. Wang Shuo was unable to refute. After a dumb smile, Wang Shuo looked at Violet with a smile on his lips, then what do you want? At this time, Violet's eyes showed a trace of spirit. I just want a peaceful life, away from the struggle for power, away from war and killing. Wang Shuo was stunned, but then thought again, who doesn't want such a life? It's just that people in the rivers and lakes can't help themselves. Wang Shuo thought of his changes in the past few years. From struggling to survive at the beginning, he was very satisfied to have a full meal and a good night's sleep. Until now, I have been thinking about expanding the territory and unifying the Xinwu Empire. Human ambitions and desires are never satisfied. Seeing Violet's tired face, Wang Shuo believed that she was not lying. Well, officials in the Roland Empire, as long as they are willing to continue to work in politics and fight, can continue to serve the Wanna Empire. If they are willing to retire, I will not make it difficult for them. Let you all live the life you want. Thank you, Your Majesty. A day later, the statistical results came out. What made Wang Shuo a little regretful was that among the three strongest kings, only the former Grand Marshal Cao Jun was willing to continue to serve the empire. The general was upset about surrendering and was unwilling to serve the Wanna Empire again. Everyone has his own ambitions, and Wang Shuo also respected his choice. As long as he abides by the law, Wang Shuo will not make things difficult for him. However, for this uncontrollable strongest king in the empire, Wang Shuo will definitely arrange personnel to monitor him in the place where he settles. And it is stipulated that if you want to go out, you must report it. If you don't agree, then go and settle in another empire. In a very short period of time, the news of the Roland Empire's surrender spread to the surrounding empires. This news caused an uproar. The Mali dynasty surrendered unconditionally at the first opportunity. Even the forces around the Wanna Empire surrendered after a short wait and see. This surprised Wang Shuo. In just a few months, the territory of the Wanna Empire has expanded several times. It has become a behemoth in the south of the Xinwu Empire, and its territory is close to the first-level empire. Wang Shuo couldn't believe it when he saw the map of the Wanna Empire's territory. Because the northeast corner of the territory is adjacent to the Truni Empire. There is only a river between the Wanna Empire and the Truni Empire. Wang Shuo looked at the map and smiled. It can be said that the Truni Empire today is no match for the Wanna Empire. Wang Shuo immediately asked Gilaji to infiltrate spies into the Truni Empire. If you want to attack a huge empire, you must know it well. If the other party has some unknown hidden strength, it is inevitable that something unexpected will happen. A few days later, a team of envoys appeared in Wanna City. The people who came were sent by the current emperor of the Xinwu Empire, the former 7th prince. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Chi Wen. Chapter 476. Wang Shuo was a little puzzled as to why the other party would send an envoy. But on second thought, this seemed to be a matter of course. Wang Shuo had made such a big fuss in the south, and as the nominal Xinwu Empire, it was unreasonable not to have any reaction. Wang Shuo received the envoy Feng Ming in the court. Foreign Minister Feng Ming pays homage to His Majesty the Emperor of the Wanna Empire. Feng Ming, wearing court clothes, bowed to Wang Shuo. Theoretically speaking, as a special envoy of the Central Dynasty, the status is higher than that of the Emperor of the Border. But now that the Xinwu Empire has declined, basically not many people will take this central dynasty seriously. As a result, the envoys sent out are far less arrogant than before, and they are very respectful to these emperors. No need to be polite. Wang Shuo waved his hand and said slowly. Feng Ming stood up straight and bowed to Wang Shuo, saying, "Your Majesty, the Emperor of Xinwu, I am very pleased to hear that His Majesty Shura has made great achievements in both civil and military affairs, and has made great efforts to expand the territory and develop the empire into a first-class empire." Wang Shuo listened to these flattering words and smiled faintly. Now the Xinwu Empire is in a turbulent time. His Majesty, the Emperor of Xinwu, wants to confer the title of Emperor Shura as the Emperor of Xinwu Chinese Shura. What do you think? Feng Ming already had the imperial edict of conferring the title on him, but if he took it out rashly, if he offended Wang Shuo, he might lose his head. Feng Ming lowered his head a little nervously. Wang Shuo frowned when he heard this. Interesting. Doesn't the Xinwu Empire know that it is now supporting the second prince? If he accepts the title, it means that he recognizes the fact that the seventh prince is the emperor of the Xinwu Empire. Wang Shuo smiled dumbly, and actually wanted to add Xinwu Zhenbian in front of his name. Do you have an imperial edict? Yes, yes. A waiter immediately took the imperial edict from Feng Ming and presented it to Wang Shuo. Wang Shuo would certainly not make such a hasty decision. Special Envoy Feng has worked hard all the way. I hope you can rest in the empire for a few days. Wang Shuo tactfully expressed his intention to discuss it. Feng Ming breathed a sigh of relief. As long as the other party did not refuse on the spot and then beheaded him, this trip would be considered a good thing. Your Majesty is so kind, so I would be disrespectful to refuse it. After Feng Ming left, Wang Shuo summoned his trusted ministers to discuss the matter. At this time, Wang Shuo suddenly wanted to see the second prince. Ever since Wang Shuo took up the banner of the second prince has been fed and well-drinked. In fact, it was house arrest to prevent him from running around. Wang Shuo came to the courtyard where the second prince lived. At this time, he was fighting crickets with several servants who served him. Seeing Wang Shuo coming, several servants knelt down hurriedly. Wang Shuo waved his hand and sent everyone out. Second prince. Wang Shuo called softly. The second prince, who was busy fighting crickets, did not respond. Wang Shuo was a little amused. It is a kind of happiness to be able to do this. Wang Shuo handed the imperial edict brought by Feng Ming to the second prince. Second prince, look, this is sent by your seventh brother. Wang Shuo looked at the second prince with interest. Don't you want to say something? The second prince deliberately did not catch the imperial edict firmly, and it fell to the ground, and the imperial edict unfolded. The second prince continued to fight crickets, but he glanced at the imperial edict inadvertently. Squeak, squeak. Do you want to play with me? The second prince said naively. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Qi Wen. Chapter 477. He knew very well his current situation. He was just a bird in a cage. It didn't matter whether he said it or not. He might as well continue to act crazy and stupid. Wang Shuo showed a complicated look. With a wave of his hand, the imperial edict returned to Wang Shuo's hand and turned away. The second prince looked at Wang Shuo's departing back and clenched his fist, but there was no expression on his face. Wang Shuo returned to the court, and Zhao Bangde and others had arrived. Everyone, tell me about this matter, how should we make a decision? Those present who had the right to speak were nothing more than the Prime Minister, the national teacher, and the general. No one else spoke. After the founding of the country, everyone gradually became cautious. Zhao Bang took the lead and said, "Your Majesty, the seventh prince is currently the emperor of the Xinwu Empire. If we accept his canonization, we will have no excuse to attack him. Old Zhao, if we accept his canonization, there will be many benefits. At least other major forces will have no excuse to target us." Wang Shuo actually thought a lot, and he is no longer satisfied with staying away from a corner. Zhao Bang saw that Wang Shuo didn't speak, so he asked, "Your Majesty, do you want to replace the Xinwu Empire?" Wang Shuo smiled but didn't say anything. The high-level officials of the Wana Empire are no longer the struggling little people they were before. With a higher position, there are naturally higher pursuits. In that case, let's ignore this imperial edict. Just make your attitude clear. You looked murderous. Zhao Bang said, "Even if we want to overthrow the Xinwu Empire, it would be better to accept this canonization temporarily and then accumulate strength." Wang Shuo pondered for a while. "Gilaji, tell us about the current strength of those first-level empires." Wang Shuo wanted to see if he was qualified to confront them now. "Your Majesty, the number of the strongest kings in the three first-level empires we have discovered so far is basically about 15 people." Wang Shuo nodded, which was about the same as he expected. Even if they are hiding something, the number will not be too many, at most a few more people. "Everyone, if we clearly state that we stand against them, how likely are they to unite and attack us?" "Your Majesty, I think it's almost impossible," Duan Wengzi said with a bow. Tell me." Duan Wengzi cleared his throat and added, "At present, most empires are still in war, and they have their own conflicts. Even a few first-level empires are temporarily maintaining peace. They are like us, always thinking about annexing each other and unifying the Xinwu Empire." Wang Shuo nodded after hearing this. He didn't expect that Duan Wengzi had some sense. "If we openly oppose the seventh prince, maybe we can form an alliance with some people who also want to overthrow the Xinwu Empire." "Well, very good, then we refuse. If you want to confer the title on me, the seventh prince is not qualified yet." After the court meeting, Feng Ming, who had been waiting for a long time, stood in the living room and paced back and forth. He was inclined to believe that Wang Shuo should accept the title, which would be more in line with the interests of a newly established dynasty. A waiter came to Feng Ming with a message. "Special Envoy Feng, His Majesty has decided to refuse the title. The Special Envoy can stay in the Empire for a while, or leave immediately, and His Majesty will not send anyone to see the Special Envoy off." After the waiter finished speaking, he left. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Qi Wen. Chapter 478. Feng Ming was left alone, slumped in a chair. He was upset. Although he had expected this, he didn't expect Wang Shuo to actually choose this. That afternoon, Feng Ming left with his men. In the palace, Wang Shuo stood in a very large room, with a very large sand table in front of him. All the major empires of the Xinwu Empire have been marked. This is what Wang Shuo will do next. Include all the territories in the territory of the Vanna Empire. The three current first-level empires are the Minanaya Empire, the Batandia Empire, and the Maka Empire. The more famous second-level empires are Andre's Parthian Empire and Queen Anna's Truni Empire. These are stumbling blocks for Wang Shuo to unify the Xinwu Empire. But it is obvious that now is not a good time to take action against them. The strength must be developed to the point where even if they unite, they will be unable to resist. But recently, the number of people in the Vanna Empire who have broken through to the strongest king has been decreasing. Except for the first wave of people, who have a very high probability of breaking through, only 1 in 10 or 12 of the people selected later can break through. Wang Shuo felt that it should be a new area, and those powerful people seemed to have great luck. Otherwise, how to explain that more than 10 strongest kings were born in the Wei domain at once? So, Wang Shuo cast his eyes on the newly created novice area. This novice area is called Monan Domain. Obviously, they have bad luck and are located on the border of the Wana Empire. The Wana Empire did not give them any chance at all and conquered it directly. Wang Shuo ordered to start selecting potential generals in Monan Domain, and then enter the ancient battlefield and the three-star secret realm. After becoming a high-level general, enter the tomb of the king. After 3 years of continuous training, the empire finally added 5 strongest kings. 3 of them are from the new area, and 2 are trained in the Wei domain. At the same time, the number of generals has reached thousands. Wang Shuo decided that he could not wait any longer. Wang Shuo intends to launch a war against several other empires. In the Xinwu Empire, a war that will sweep across hundreds of empires is about to begin. Just as Wang Shuo convened a court meeting to discuss the war, several other first-level empires were also doing the same thing. They all felt that they could not wait any longer. In the Xinwu Empire, envoys from various countries kept traveling between various empires. Everyone was trying their best to win over allies, or adopt the strategy of uniting the many, or adopting the strategy of forming alliances. It was really a storm brewing. The climate became weird. There were either droughts or floods in various parts of the Xinwu Empire. The Wana Empire was also facing various natural disasters. It seemed that they wanted to prevent the countries from fighting each other. But Wang Shuo knew that Lord Zhak definitely did not think so. He just wanted to make this war more exciting. In Wana City, during this period, envoys from various countries have never stopped. Some small countries wanted to become vassal states and surrendered voluntarily. There are also vassal states of other great powers that secretly surrendered. There are also other great powers that sent people to form an alliance. Wang Shuo attaches the most importance to the first-level empire in the north, the Maka Empire. On the sand table, the Maka Empire and the Vanna Empire are located in the north and south of the Xinwu Empire. The other 2 first-level empires are located in the east and west. These 4 empires are currently the 4 most powerful empires in the Xinwu Empire. If Wang Shuo wants to expand his territory, he must take action against the Minanaya Empire and the Batondia Empire, which are located in the east and west. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Qi Wen. Chapter 479. But the 2 of them are located in the northeast and northwest of the Wana Empire. And the distance between them is tens of thousands of miles, so it is not realistic to attack at the same time. And there are not so many kings who can fight with them at the same time. There are hundreds of small empires, regions, and cities between these tens of thousands of miles. They must push forward all the way. Because it is not realistic to transport tens of millions of troops over long distances, the transportation cost alone is an astronomical figure. After repeated discussions, Wang Shuo decided to send Duan Wengzi to the Maka Empire to meet Emperor Ma Hao in person. Your Majesty, then I'll leave. Duan Wengzi was a little nervous. This was his first time to travel tens of thousands of miles to another country. For his safety, Wang Shuo specially arranged for Saran and Fang Daguang, the 2 strongest kings, to protect him. On Ayub's side, he was constantly dispatching troops and preparing for the expedition. One day, Wang Shuo heard that Ban Ki gave birth to a big fat boy for Zhao Bangde. Wang Shuo was delighted and hurried to the residence of the national teacher. Zhao Bangde, holding his son, went to the gate to greet Wang Shuo. Your Majesty. Wang Shuo looked at the smile on Zhao Bangde's face and was happy for him from the bottom of his heart. Old Zhao, congratulations on your son. Zhao Bangde also said with some pride, thanks to your Majesty's blessing, my old Zhao family can be regarded as a successor. I wonder when your Majesty plans to get married. Wang Shuo's mind appeared Yeshuer's voice and smile, and he laughed, wait until the unification of the Xinwu Empire, what do you think? Of course it's great, then it will be a double happiness. Wang Shuo and Zhao Bangde came to the pavilion in the back garden. It's been a long time since the two of them sat down leisurely and had a good chat. After chatting with Zhao Bang for a while, the two reviewed the bits and pieces they encountered along the way, and couldn't help but sigh. A few days later, Wang Shuo reviewed the army of the Wana Empire again, and this time the army was more prosperous. After the military parade, Wang Shuo asked Ayub to lead the army to the border of the Truni Empire. This move made Queen Anna somewhat uneasy. Over the past 1,000 years, the Truni Empire had also been glorious and had developed to the level of a second-level empire. But she was unlucky. At that time, the Xinwu Empire was in its heyday and she had no chance to be promoted. After several suppressions, she became weak. As the saying goes, a country has its own destiny. If an empire wants to grow and develop, it really needs an opportunity. Queen Anna thought that this was an opportunity for the Truni Empire to rise again. But she didn't expect that the Vanna Empire would come out halfway, which was almost like killing her. She sent people to beg Wang Shuo for help while asking for help from the Parthian Empire and the Baidandaya Empire. Wang Shuo is very relaxed now. The Truni Empire has no power to fight back in front of the Vanna Empire. The number of the strongest kings is several times that of it. And the number of soldiers is not at the same level at all. Facing the envoy of the Truni Empire, Wang Shuo killed him directly. Want to make peace? No way. This time, Wang Shuo also wanted to avenge the Frost Empire. Moreover, a country that is half undead has no need to exist. A month later, Du and Wengzi came back and brought news of the alliance. Wang Shuo was reassured. It's not that this ally is so important, but it can contain the two first-level empires in the east and the west. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Qi Wen. Chapter 480. The number of the strongest kings in the Wana Empire has reached 32. There was no need for Wang Shuo to do anything. Ayub sent people to occupy all the small forces and cities far away. In the northeast, the army of the Wana Empire was divided into 10 routes, heading towards the capital of the Truni Empire. All the generals worked very hard. They also knew that this battle was the prelude to the unification of the Xinwu Empire. After the war, there would definitely be rewards for merit. As long as you perform well, it would not be a problem to be made a marquis or a prime minister. And you will also get a large piece of fiefdom. The 10 armies marched in unison, attacking cities and strongholds all the way. In less than a month, they arrived at the capital of the Truni Empire. Wang Shuo also followed the army and came to the camp 10 miles outside the city. In fact, for a war like this, Wang Shuo didn't need to come in person. But Wang Shuo just wanted to see what happened to Queen Anna. One of the important reasons why Ayub advanced so quickly was that Queen Anna concentrated most of the empire's troops in the capital. Under the city wall, the army of the Truni Empire was ready for battle. Wang Shuo could see the Black Army from a distance. This is what it looks like. Wang Shuo still admired Queen Anna from the bottom of his heart. A queen who grew up after her family was wiped out and suffered countless hardships. She is indeed capable. She did not give up resistance, which is better than many people. Moreover, she still had to fight to the death with Wang Shuo outside the city, which made Wang Shuo look up to her even more. But Wang Shuo was very confident that all this was in vain. At this time, a passage was separated from the enemy's formation. Queen Anna appeared at the front. Wang Shuo, come out. Queen Anna used her internal force, and her voice was very loud, shaking the 4 fields. Wang Shuo heard her voice and walked out of the formation. Anna, do you have any last words? Wang Shuo rode on De Huang, looking relaxed. Wang Shuo, since ancient times, the winners are the kings and the losers are the bandits. As a king, I should die with dignity. Do you dare to fight me fairly? Wang Shuo sneered. Why not? Wang Shuo was very confident in his own strength. Could it be that the last battle in the Frost Empire gave her confidence and made her have the illusion that she could defeat herself? Wang Shuo couldn't help shaking his head. Your Majesty, no, now our strength can completely crush her, there is no need to risk our lives. At this time, there were still subordinates who spoke out to stop him. But the core ministers of the empire did not speak, because they all knew how powerful Wang Shuo was. It doesn't matter, just give her a decent death. Wang Shuo clamped his legs, and De Huang rushed out like a sharp arrow. A Shura demon-breaking spear, shining brightly under the sunlight. Queen Anna also immediately stepped into the air and flew towards Wang Shuo. The two of them started a fierce battle in front of the two armies. This time, Wang Shuo did not hold back at all and fired at full power. Queen Anna was shocked and could not believe it. At this time, she finally realized that Wang Shuo had been hiding his abilities before. However, it didn't matter. She was prepared to fight for the last chance today. If Wang Shuo could be defeated, the Truni Empire might still be able to escape this disaster. If not, the empire would be destroyed soon, and she did not want to live alone. After the two exchanged a few moves, Wang Shuo directly used Shura Slash. Although the momentum was not enough, it was enough to injure Anna. Then she could use Dai Tianlong. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Qi Wen. Chapter 481. Let this eternal queen die with dignity. Wang Shuo wanted to give the other party enough respect. So he said, Queen Anna, if you have any tricks, just use them. Once I use my tricks later, you may not have a chance. Humph, don't be hypocritical. The smile on Wang Shuo's face disappeared. Holding the gun with both hands, he chopped hard. A huge knife light, stretching for dozens of meters, smashed down at Queen Anna. Queen Anna immediately used her foot knife to resist. But they were cut off one by one. Fortunately, the power of this knife was not too great. Although all the foot knives were broken, Queen Anna was not seriously injured. Seeing this, Wang Shuo no longer hesitated and shouted Great Dragon. In an instant, a dragon roared in the sky. A huge golden dragon with a length of dozens of meters circled in the air. The soldiers around were all shocked. This is a dragon. The golden dragon circled in the air twice, found Queen Anna, and swooped down directly. At the same time, a sound wave came out of the golden dragon's mouth. Queen Anna forgot to move for a moment, and a look of horror appeared on her face. The golden dragon carried an overwhelming momentum and directly submerged Queen Anna. After the golden dragon disappeared, the smoke dissipated. Queen Anna stood there blankly, her eyes were empty, and blood was flowing from her 7 orifices. Countless people held their breath when they saw this scene. Queen Anna's figure turned into faint starlight and dissipated between heaven and earth. Wang Shuo was a little puzzled, whether this Queen Anna was dead or not. But the army of the Truni Empire on the opposite side was in chaos. The queen is dead, the queen is dead. Ayub no longer cared so much and directly ordered the whole army to attack. The result of the battle was naturally no suspense. In less than a day, the capital of the Truni Empire was captured. The first battle was a victory, and Wang Shuo rewarded the whole army. Next was the Parthian Empire. On the morning of the second day, the peace envoys of the Parthian Empire came to the Truni Empire and found Wang Shuo. Your Majesty, I am here to negotiate peace on the orders of His Majesty André. Wang Shuo laughed and looked at the rather nervous envoy, and said lightly, Oh? Tell me, André, what conditions have you put forward? Our country is willing to cede half of its territory, and I hope your Majesty can stop the war. Wang Shuo laughed heartily, and all the generals in the hall laughed along. Seeing that Wang Shuo did not speak, the envoy continued, If your Majesty is not satisfied, His Majesty Andre is willing to become your vassal state and pay tribute to you. After Wang Shuo laughed enough, he still shook his head. The envoy saw Wang Shuo shaking his head, as if he had lost all his strength at once. Go back and tell Andre to wash his neck and wait. If he had known this would happen, why didn't he agree when the Frost Empire negotiated peace? The messenger walked out of the hall in a daze, and almost stumbled when he passed the threshold. Wang Shuo did not accept the surrender of these two countries, just to make Ye Shuai understand. 3 months later, Wang Shuo's army arrived at the Loxia plain. Report: the army of the Parthian Empire appeared in front. Wang Shuo was a little surprised. It can be seen that Andre was fighting a desperate battle. Loxia plain is more than 100 miles away from the capital of the Parthian Empire, but this place has a wide terrain and can accommodate tens of millions of troops. This is the battlefield chosen by Andre. He has already built a large number of fortifications on the opposite side. Wang Shuo rode on the back of the Ice Phoenix, flew high into the sky, and inspected along the Loxia plain. On the plain, countless armies set up camp. Wang Shuo was a little puzzled. Logically speaking, the Parthian Empire should not have so many troops. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Qi Wen. Chapter 482. Ayub also flew up to the sky and took a closer look with a stern look on his face. The number of people on the opposite side has exceeded 10 million. It's similar to Wang Shuo's side. Wang Shuo returned to the camp and found Gulji. Go and investigate immediately to see how the Parthian Empire has so many troops. Yes, Your Majesty. Not long after, Gulji came back and reported, Your Majesty, the Batandia Empire has taken action. Wang Shuo frowned. How many people did they send? The spies have not found out the specific number of people, but there are at least 10 of the strongest kings. Wang Shuo was shocked. It seemed that this time it was going to be a tough battle. Subsequently, Wang Shuo, Zhao Bond, Ayub and others held an emergency meeting and formulated a combat strategy. There are a total of 30 strongest kings in the Vanna Empire army. Wang Shuo believes that no force can stop this power. Even if it's a tough battle, it doesn't matter. As long as he can kill the king of the Batandia Empire, it's worth it even if he suffers losses on his side. This night, the moonlight was hazy, and at the third watch, there was silence all around the military camp. Except for the soldiers on night duty, everyone else had gone to bed. Suddenly, a squad of 100 people took advantage of the situation and entered Wang Shuo's tent. Among these 1,000 people, there are 20 strongest kings, and the rest are all high-level generals. This time, they wanted to sneak attack on the top officials of the Vanna Empire. It is best to kill Wang Shuo or General Ayub. This way, this battle will be easy. The army of the Parthian Empire has also been prepared and can attack as soon as the signal is sent. The leader of the team this time was one of the strongest kings of the Batandia Empire, named Li Yujun, who was a king who was proficient in assassination. Since they don't know much about the distribution of the Wanna Empire's camp, they can only determine the target for assassination based on the strength of the target's aura. Li Yujun was really unlucky. The first target he found was Gongzheng. Who? Before the Liu dagger could hit Gongzheng opened his eyes. There are assassins. Gongzheng shouted. In fact, the defense of the camp was pretty good. However, the people dispatched on the opposite side were all masters, and ordinary soldiers did not notice it. This was also very helpless. At the same time, assassins took action in other places. There was chaos in the camp. Wang Shuo's tent also had an assassin. Wang Shuo immediately summoned the 3 pets. He was also a little confused about the situation, because there were shouts of killing outside one after another. Summon the 3 king pets to maximize your combat effectiveness. The assassin was dumbfounded when he saw that 3 more kings suddenly appeared in Wang Shuo's tent, Bursting the tent. Damn it, the script is wrong. Wang Shuo immediately launched a fierce attack on the assassin. With the assistance of Ice Phoenix Emperor and Maris, the unlucky assassin was quickly killed. Wang Shuo flew into the air and saw the assassins killing people. There was a sudden burst of fire in my heart. The top management of the Vanna Empire also responded very quickly. The assassins achieved little results. Wang Shuo unceremoniously used his ultimate move, facing Li Yujun, the mighty heavenly dragon move. If the assassins are not eliminated as soon as possible, Wang Shuo is also worried that something will happen. Li Yujun's dead soul appeared. This powerful move could not be intercepted at first sight. But the golden dragon was like a living creature, and no matter how hard he tried to avoid it, he couldn't get rid of it. There was no way to avoid it, so he could only use all his strength to stop it. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Qi Wen. Chapter 483. Bang. After a loud noise, he vomited blood. Gong Zhen used the move Taishan pressing down the top, and Wang Shuo added the move Flying Dragon in the sky. Li Yujun also suffered in the northwest. Under the joint siege of the crowd, the remaining assassins could only flee in embarrassment. More than 10 people escaped. This sneak attack can be said to have lost both the wife and the soldiers of the Parthian Empire. Not only did it fail to kill the high-level officials of the Wana Empire, but it also suffered heavy losses. The next morning, Wang Shuo, who was furious, immediately gave an order. Attack. As the commander-in-chief of the military, Ayub was also a little angry in his heart, and he personally led the Golden Fire Cavalry to charge. The battle started. Due to the number of the strongest kings on the opposite side, more than half of them were lost last night, and there was no resistance at all. The defeat was like a mountain collapsing. Ayub led the army and defeated the main force of the Parthian Empire in one go. This battle not only occupied the Parthian Empire, but also weakened the strength of the Baidandaya Empire. It can be said to kill two birds with one stone. The Baidandian Empire went from strong to weak. Just when Wang Shuo was about to attack the Baidandian Empire in one go, the Minanaya Empire in the west also felt that something was wrong. Immediately attacked the border of the Vanna Empire. Wang Shuo received the news and sighed. Everyone was not stupid. Everyone understood the principle of lips and teeth being cold. But the opportunity in front of him was rare, and Wang Shuo did not want to give up. He immediately sent a message to the Maka Empire in the north, asking him to attack the Minamiya Empire as soon as possible. A war involving 4 first-level empires broke out at once. Sure enough, the Minanaya Empire only sent a small number of troops to invade the border of the Vanna Empire, and all the main forces were transferred to the north. Wang Shuo also seized the time and attacked the Baidandian Empire with all his strength. But it was obvious that this was not a simple battle. It took almost half a year to contribute to the Parthian Empire alone. It would take at least 1 year to reach the capital of the Baidandian Empire. Because his territory was too large, it had to be pushed forward step by step. The war went very smoothly. After all, there were 30 strongest kings in Wang Shuo's army. All the cities along the way basically had no power to compete with them. Most of them collapsed at the first touch, and only a few large cities had the power to resist and could hold on for a few days. But it could only delay the pace of Wang Shuo's army. Moreover, the captives along the way could replenish the troops. The number of servants was almost exceeding the number of regular troops. Many generals of the Baidandaya Empire were still very aware of the current situation. Knowing that the empire was powerless to turn the tide, they defected to the Vanna Empire and fought even more bravely, striving to achieve good enough military exploits in the Vanna Empire, and maybe they could be rewarded in the future. A year later, the army of the Vanna Empire finally arrived at the gates of the city. This was a war with no retreat. The Baidandaya Empire could no longer lose. Wangshuo, do you really want to kill them all? The Baidandaya Emperor flew over the city and roared at Wangshuo. Wangshuo also rose into the air. Emperor Ba, you are no longer a child. Don't have unrealistic fantasies. Wangshuo was determined to win this battle. Now Wangshuo has an overall advantage. As long as he doesn't capsize, there is almost no suspense in this battle. Wangshuo, I will never surrender. You will pay a huge price if you want to capture the city. When the time comes, when the three of you fight for hegemony, you will also be defeated. Wangshuo sneered, then don't bother Emperor Ba, don't worry, I will spare your life, and then I will show you how I defeated the other two empires. Lord Survival, My Shelter in Crocodile Territory. Author, Qi Wen. Chapter 484. Wangshuo glared at Ayub. Ayub understood, and immediately waved his long sword and ordered, attack. Li Jiangguo's crossbow battalion immediately took action. Bullets were thrown at the opponent's city wall like a flood. A day later, the city was broken and the emperor was captured. Wangshuo no longer paid attention to this prisoner. After taking over the entire territory of Baidandia, Wangshuo began to pay close attention to the war between the Maka Empire and the Minanaya Empire. At this time, the two of them were in a difficult situation. There was a faint trend of a truce. This was not the situation Wangshuo wanted. Although Wangshuo was the only one now, it was still difficult for Wangshuo to resist the combination of their two empires. If they fought on two fronts at the same time, the Wana Empire might not be sure of winning. A month later, Wangshuo finally got the news that the two empires had signed a peace treaty. Wangshuo was a little unhappy, but there was no better way. It seemed that he could only accumulate strength and look for new opportunities. It took a year for the Vanna Empire to consolidate its current territory and rectify its army. The number of the strongest kings has reached nearly 50. Wangshuo felt that he now had the strength to unify the Xinwu Empire. The Maka Empire is located in the north, and it takes nearly a year to fight from north to south. The Minanaya Empire is located in the east, and Wangshuo can completely crush it with absolute strength. So, the war against Minanaya was launched again. The Maka Empire was caught in a very difficult choice. At this time, should we rescue Minanaya? If we don't rescue, the next one to perish will definitely be ourselves. But if we rescue, how to rescue is a problem. If we unite and destroy the Vanna Empire, Minanaya will turn around and fight with us. In the end, they decided to send half of the strongest kings of the empire directly to the Minanaya Empire to cooperate with the Minanaya army to resist the frontal attack of the Vanna Empire. On the other hand, they marched southward from the north, attacking the territory of the former Baidandaya Empire and heading towards the capital of the Vanna Empire. After Gilaji detected this news, she immediately reported it to Wangshuo. At the military meeting, after discussion, everyone decided to trade depth for time. As long as they could destroy the opponent's top masters and troops, then no matter how much territory the opponent occupied, it could be easily recovered. Half a year later, the army of the Vanna Empire had already arrived at the capital of the Minanaya Empire. And the Maka Empire had also occupied most of the territory of the former Baidandaya Empire. But at this time, they changed their strategy. The Maka Empire also quickly transferred its main force to the capital of the Minanaya Empire. The main forces of the three parties gathered here. A decisive battle to determine the ownership of the continent is about to begin. At this time, the three parties dared not act rashly. Because if they were not careful, they might be doomed. The army of the Vanna Empire was more than 40 million, and the Maka Empire was more than 30 million. And there are still 15 million in Minanaya. Although the Vanna Empire has an advantage in numbers, most of them are vassal troops, and their combat effectiveness is not good at all. At this time, the Maka Empire is the strongest side? Wang Shuo proposed that the strongest kings of the three parties fight to decide the direction of the war. But this proposal was rejected by the other two empires. In this way, the three armies were deadlocked here. Although no large-scale war broke out, small-scale wars still occurred frequently. The three parties are doing their best to squeeze the potential for war. Wang Shuo decided to send half of the generals, led by the strongest king, to constantly attack and harass the opponent's supply troops around this battlefield. This move made the Maka Empire miserable. In terms of the number of kings, their two countries are far from enough. The contest between the three parties has changed from a direct confrontation between large armies to a small-scale confrontation between masters. After the death of two of the strongest kings, the Maka Empire, which could no longer bear it, decided to take the initiative to launch an attack.